Historically made us great, Brian. But what is happening with this continued push in the face of resistance from many parents who see this as indoctrination? Why is the head of the second largest teachers union continuing to fight this and says she will all the way to the courtroom?
Senator, here's what drives me nuts. She's going to fight it all the way through, but she's not teaching it. Wait a second. K through 12, we do not teach critical race theory, but I'm prepared and I'm lawyered up in order to fight for teachers, get in trouble for teaching critical race theory. So get on the same page and decide, are you teaching it or not? Or let's call it something. Maybe they're teaching it when calling it something different. Let's just think about this. Condoleezza Rice said about 3 weeks ago on, I think it was Meet the Press or Face the Nation. She said,
yes, Demon Condoleezza Rice, that's the same one that said, oh, racism was a birth defect. Yeah, we don't hear about that little demon.
We can learn about all this stuff. She goes, I grew up in Birmingham in the 1960s. I saw the KKK. We understand all that. But we have to do it in a way that doesn't vilify one race or one gender if you want to get things better. If there's a lap...
You just figured out that 400 years? You was teaching that crap for 400 years. Racism. Teaching your children. Now it's come back to you. You can't stand and smell your own shit.
It needs to be the run. For inner city schools, that should be it. But you don't vilify white people because inner city schools are bad. If there's not another...
You boys over here, those are your damn schools. They ain't ours. They're your schools.
There's another an economic opportunity that's not there for a certain segment of society. You don't say it's their fault for something that happened 245 years ago. Well, of course.
Oh, really? Well, you still settle on the land that you stole 245 years ago, ain't you? You ain't gave it back. So if it was wrong, then how come you don't get it back? If it's not your fault, then why are you still sitting on it? Why don't you give it back? Lying dogs.
650,000 people died in order to get rid of slavery.
That's a lie. They didn't do it to get rid of slavery. They got rid of it because they didn't want to compete with slave labor. It wasn't because to get rid of slaves. Anybody can just Google it. Liar. You wasn't trying to get rid of slaves. And if you've been back there, you probably was a slave on your damn self. Stop telling that damn lie. It wasn't for free slaves. What happened to the 40 eggs and a mule then? If you love slaves so much, what happened to the 40 eggs and a mule?
Or Jim Crow and the civil rights movement. We're acting as if, and I hate to quote Bill Maher, there has been no progress made. That's the problem with critical race theory.
Progress? Progress from what? Why you gotta make progress if you're not devils? If you're not evil, why you gotta make progress? Why you gotta make progress from what? You're admitting right there that you're evil and wicked. You're trying to get better. Why you gotta make progress? Means you haven't got there yet, or we make it progress. So we're supposed to wait. We're not raping you that much as before. Just be patient. One day we'll stop raping you.
What happens is they think you're not paying attention. They think when you say, well, we want to teach real history, and I will fight for any teacher that teaches real history. Real history is Jim Crow. It is winning the Revolutionary War. It is winning World War II, what came in late in World War I.
No, real history is bringing us over here against our will, and you still got us over here. If you could afford to bring us over here, you'd be able to afford to take us back. We don't want to be under your rule. We don't want to be under your thumb. We don't want to you don't tell us what to do. Tell us our kids what to do with your false, fake, Satan religion. We don't want any of that. You force that on us. We ain't free. We still here under your thumb. How the hell are we free? We're a nation unto ourselves. We don't want to have anything to do with you wicked people. You're stupid. You're a big lie and you're fake. You're phony.
We talk about the black codes that existed, the failure of Reconstruction. We're all learning that. You learned that. I learned.
Well, I didn't learn it. They ain't teach when I was going to school, liar. I had to find out for myself. You didn't teach that. You're big liars. You weren't teaching that in schools.
But they're not listening to Condoleezza Rice. And why is that? Why is this not open for...
No, nobody want to listen to that demon. How you think she's in Master's house? She's in Master's house. Means house Negro. We try to listen to y'all. You're speaking for Daddy. You ain't speaking for us.
Or debate, Brian. Tim Scott has spoken out against this further.
Another demon. So what? Just because they look like us, that's your trick. Because they look like us, because they blackface, we supposed to listen to them? They're speaking for you. That's why you putting them up there. How can you put the black folks up there that's not speaking for you? See, that shows you're a liar and a racist. Put the black folks up there that has a different perspective. They have a black perspective, not your perspective.
Us. Here's the New York Post editorial piece this morning. This is the editorial board for the New York Post. NEA's enforcing of critical race theory in schools does kids a grave injustice, it writes. Children should be...
and what was doing to our kids for the last 40 years? You're animals. We can rape you. We can do anything we want to you. You're nothing. Get your ass out there and pick some more cotton. You have no rights. Rights? What'd you write? You get some more slop. Get niggas some slop over here. So what you teaching our kids 40 years? Grave injustice. Sick ass people.
About the stains of slavery and Jim Crow on America's heritage, to your point, Brian. But teaching kids...
There wasn't no damn stains. Right? Something like stain. Like, oh, well, that shit got a stain on it. No, shit isn't. You know those stains? This place was shit from the very beginning. From the time you set foot on the soil of America.
Is it the nation and all white people are inherently racist? Is it destructive?
Well, is it true? Did you go against each other? You take each other's land? Are you giving it back? Who did Australia belong to? Who did North America belong to? Who did Canada belong to? Who did South America belong to? The Chinese didn't take it. The Muslims didn't take it. Asians didn't take it. You took it. It didn't belong to you. Did it? Were you all Europeans? You just don't want the truth to be told. Because you can't stand and smell your own shit. Don't show me no mirror.
Slur. Talk about how this country came together.
Ain't no slur. Oh, here, come together. Here, this fool here. Come together. We didn't ask to come over here. We don't want part of this bullshit. We don't want to come together with you. See, here you go again. That's your racist idea. That's your dumb race idea. We come together. You didn't ask us that we come together with you. You didn't ask us to come over here. So that's your idea. Oh, come together. That's your idea. Did you ask us? Did you see if we want that? We tell you we don't be bothered with you. Oh, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all be bothered? Because we don't be bothered with you. What's so great about you? If we try to say we don't want to be bothered, then oh man, they separate us. We don't want to have nothing to do with you. Listen to this fool.
Together is doing something the world has never seen before, bringing all races, creeds.
Yeah, you bring us. You forced us. We didn't ask to be part of this damn experiment. We didn't ask to be part of this. Like you bringing all us together. That's such a great thing. Never seen before. Listen to this fool.
And colors under one roof, under one country, the big melting pot.
Listen to this fool. Listen to him.
Piece this morning. This is the editorial board for the New York Post. NEA's enforcing of critical race theory in schools does kids a grave injustice, it writes. Children should be educated about the stains of slavery and Jim Crow on America's heritage.
Heritage.
But teaching kids that the nation and all white people are inherently racist is a destructive slur.
It's destructive truth.
How this country came together is doing something the world has never seen before, bringing all races, creeds, and colors under one roof, under one country, the big melting pot. That was a big plus.
We don't want to be part of this shit. Don't you get it? We didn't ask to come be part of this. You forced us over here. Like that's a plus. Like you did us a favor. These people are absolutely sick. Listen to them.
Now there's a force out there, and I can't figure out who it is, that's trying to divide people.
Nobody's trying to divide. You had us divide for 40 years. These people are sick. Trying to divide people. We don't want part of you. You're a sick society. You're a thief and murderer. You stole this land and we want to be part of your theft. You're sucking, you're drinking the blood of the native people and eating their flesh. And you want to be part of that? We don't be part of that. The enemy's closing in on your ass. We don't have to be defending you from your enemies either that you created.
Between gay, between straight, between men, between women. The one thing they can all agree on, that white males are the worst, white females are probably the second worst. Let's work our way backwards from there. When did these rankings come out?
When did it come out? It's been like that from the very beginning. That's what you brought here. When the hell you planet you think you come from? Talk all your lies. That's your history. That's why you don't want you know because you tell lies. That's your history.
Where's the coaches poll on that?
Now,
who came up with this?
Now a new story that is developing is the retaliation against parents and students who push back against CRT in our schools. This is the Columbus Academy statement. This is the Ohio school that is being accused of this. Any parent who waged a public campaign of false and misleading statements and inflammatory attacks harmful to the employees, the reputation, or the financial stability of Columbus Academy would be in clear violation of the enrollment agreement and would be denied re-enrollment for the following school year. This is after a group of moms there took issue, as many parents do, about what they see as indoctrination in these classrooms, Brian. So now they're threatening these kids, threatening these parents.
And the kids are gone. They're expected.
And then you indoctrinate us towards animals was no good, was with a seed of ham, born to be slaves, ignorant animals. What was you indoctrinating us for 40 years? See, God's returning it back on you. He's turning your evil back on you. See, that's consequence. All your lies you told is redounding back on you. You don't like it. See? This is called consequence. You want to spell it for you? Consequence. This is what you're getting. You're getting consequence. Of all lies and everything you told, you consequence. And you don't like it. You've been spreading this shit for 500 years. Now you thought, now you thought you just wash your hands and walk around like a peacock, like nothing ever happened. Nah. You're in the judgment now, buddy. You're in the judgment. You know what that means? 1619 to 2019, 40 years. Slavery, 2020. A plague that will kill the firstborn elderly. Your year of judgment. You know what judgment means? That means everything you've done come back to you. Boomerang. All your shit's come back on you. That's what judgment is. They examine everything you've done and turn it back on you. So you have to get justice, balance, you know? So in other words, you reap what you sow. So you've been sowing this shit, now you're reaping it. You've been sowing this shit for 40 years, now you're reaping it. Now you see how it feels, how it smells. You smell the stench, you don't like it.
Well, they got to go find another school. And also keep in mind, too, it is not just the public. You got to watch. Just because your kid's in a private school, it doesn't mean they're on the glide path to learning the right American history. That seems to be a private academy. I saw those two moms. I'll bring something else I think is important to bring up. I think it was problematic in colleges, and they talk about law schools. What about the problem with the third, fourth grader? So you might say, well, I can talk to my kids all the time. They understand real history. They bleed red, white, and blue. They understand that their grandfather fought in World War II. But aren't they learning it?
No, I don't bleed red, white, and blue. And sure not going to bleed for you. Little poetry for your dumb ass.
Third grade. Now they're learning it in fifth grade. That's when they're sponges. And they have to go, excuse me, this is going to be on the test. They contradict you and what you know to be facts. And the true American history, that's not going to get them an A in class. So they're really...
Had to tell them lies. No, they really not tell all the truth. That's the whole point. CRT ain't telling all of it. It's just tip of the iceberg. We can go much deeper than that. You want to go a little deeper? We'll start digging. You don't want to do that. See? But, hey, you reap what you sow. You don't like it. But we suffered through it for 400 years.
Divided, and they are indoctrinated. And this Randy Weingarten is such an embarrassment to this country. She has done more harm to more kids than any single union in the country, I would argue.
And what y'all done to our children with your fake Christianity, Satan's religion? What, are you going to say that Jesus is responsible for rape, murder, genocide, pedophilia, sodomy? Is that what you're going to attribute that to Jesus? Or is that Satan's works? That's the God that you're serving. See, you put that on us, you force it on us, now it's coming back to you. What is it? Chickens come home to roost?
When she kept those schools closed and lobbied the CDC to do just that, and now she's pushing back for the real history, and she'll sue because of it, please. And to use Howard Zinn as a template, the most anti-American book that's ever been written, that's done more damage than anything else, that's an embarrassment. They're going to have a Howard Zinn Foundation celebrating George Floyd's birthday, October 14th, along with Black Lives Matter. I wouldn't want a union a part of that.
To your point, those feelings are still so raw for so many of these parents who went through so much, who were so greatly affected by the decisions that she made back in the complete COVID shutdown and the changing of the rules, the moving of the goalposts. Her teachers have to be vaccinated, then they were vaccinated, and then schools still didn't go back into full session. And that's
6 feet, 3 feet too, right?
Yeah.
6 feet apart, then 3 feet apart. We can go back to class and put kids in the classrooms. Well, when the 3 feet came out, she goes, I'm not ready for that. Excuse me, the CDC said 3 feet. Fill up your classrooms. They still didn't do it.
You know, I feel like I always want to end these conversations. There's so many great schools, so many great teachers that are all over this country. And you talk about her, Randy Weingarten, being the voice of this teachers unions, and you don't want to take away from the fact that there's so many great teachers out there that are trying
the
to do
teachers
the
are the
right
best. They're underpaid, overworked. I get it, even with their 3 months off, but they are hostage to the unions.
Yeah. All right, Brian, great to see you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
The union is democracy, isn't it? So how they hostile to the union, right? It means the majority of them are voting for that woman. They vote for CRT. See, but you don't like that democracy, do you? Because they don't do what you want to do, because it's not democracy anyway. And again, fool, we don't want part of you. We're not free. We're a nation. And you still got us under your control, under your laws. If we don't obey your laws, you put us in prison or kill us. So how in the hell are we free? We don't want to be part of your stupid system. We didn't ask to come over here. So we're not free. We're free. We're free to obey you. That's the freedom we have. If we don't, we get killed or murdered. We get murdered or thrown in prison. Sick ass people.